Previously, talked a little bit about VO2 max and cardiorespiratory fitness and so forth. Realize a lot of folks are getting started. If you've been exercising for a long time, things I have to say, you've already got it. You're already doing it. If you're getting started, it's really tricky sometimes to be able to stick with it long enough that it can do some good. And cardiovascular exercise, getting your oxygen going is very important. A couple of things to know. I don't want to bog you down with a lot of information that can confuse you and really not be applicable. You're just getting started out, and the real effort, the real gain is going to come just from no longer being sedentary, actually getting out and exercising on a regular basis. And by doing that, things starts to change, and you don't have to do a lot. Now, I've set a goal that I want to be exercising 3 times a week with cardiorespiratory, getting out and doing. I want to get myself up to half hour. I'm pretty sure I can do that without any problems at all. And so a half hour 3 times a week, that's going to get me up to 90 minutes a week, which is really pretty good. I might shoot for more than that at some point, but that's a good start. So 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week. That's all I'm going for. And this is a progressive type of approach. I mean, if you can only do 5 minutes, do 5 minutes. If you can only do 2 minutes, do 2 minutes. Go a minute out, a minute back. I mean, if that's it, that's it. But keep increasing it. And what you're going to find is you stick with it, it gets easier and easier. Now, if you're carrying a lot of extra weight, I realize that makes it a little more difficult. I got it. I get it. I understand it. You're only working against yourself. You're not working against anybody else. So there's no records to set. There's nothing to prove. Really, what you're wanting to do is to get yourself going. So first of all, work on the habit. Just get out. If it's for a short time, it's for a short time. But get out 3 times a week and walk. I'm not asking you to run or jog or anything else like that. Bike, anything difficult for you. Just get out and do some walking. Now, if you can do the other kinds of exercises, by all means, incorporate those. If you can, for sure. But what you're looking at is to get yourself to the point that you're consistently getting out 3 times a week. And you might have to work up to that. Maybe 1 week you can only get out 1 day, but work yourself up to 3 times a week. And the other thing that you want to progress towards is to increase the time. And get the habit going first. And after you get the habit going, then you want to increase each week about 5 to 10% of what you're doing. So, if you're able to go 5 minutes a day, then the next week try to make it 6 minutes. Little incremental changes like that. What you're going to find is you're going to be tempted to make bigger changes because you're going to feel good. Be careful about it. You don't want to hurt yourself. So still just increase a little and keep bringing yourself up more and more.
Good morning. This is the Wilson Homestead, where Hardiness Approach takes place as we strive to live a holistically healthy life.
After you get to the point that you can exercise for the amount of time that you want to exercise for, be it 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever it is on those days, whatever your goal may be, I suggest at least 30 minutes is what you're going to be shooting for. Then you can look at adding some other, adding more intensity to it. And the intensity is the thing I want to talk about. And we're talking about frequency, we're talking about duration, but I want to talk about intensity as well. When you're just getting started, don't hurt yourself. Take it easy. You're just going for a stroll. You're just out and back. You should be able to breathe easy the whole time. You should be able to talk with no interruptions to what you're talking about. You should be, we talked about the RPE and where you're perceiving how your exertion is, you're going to be like a 3, maybe a 4, but probably not. You're starting to exercise. You know that you're doing it, but you're not hurting yourself. You're not really feeling much. Do that for a couple of weeks to where you're very comfortable for a couple of weeks. And then we can talk about moving the intensity up to where you're going to push it on up to a 4, maybe a 5. You're starting to feel it, you know that it's there. You keep that up for a few weeks to where you feel comfortable with that, and we can start talking about some other things. I'm going to save that discussion for another time, and I'm going to save some of the intensity discussion for another time as well. The point here today is to get out, walk, work yourself up to 3 times a week, work yourself up to at least 15 minutes a day. That's what I'm suggesting. Now, those of you who've been doing it for a while, work yourself up to 30 minutes a day. That's what's going to help you. I'm going to give you a little bit of idea of what's coming up in the future on this. What's interesting about cardiorespiratory fitness is that if you're very intense, not intense, but if you're very persistent and consistent where you're doing it as regularly as you ought to and you're progressing it like you can, like I'm saying, increase by 10% every week once you get in shape, then within 4 to 6 months, you're going to get your VO2 max up to about where it needs to be. And you probably aren't going to get much improvement past that unless you're looking to be an athlete of some type. But just for a regular guy kind of fitness, it's going to take you 4 to 6 months to get there. Now, that is a fair amount of time. But the way you're going to feel by the time you do that is going to be fantastic. But it doesn't take forever. That's the point that I'm making. It doesn't take forever to get your cardiorespiratory system working the way it needs to work and being at the kind of capacity that you should be at to where you feel good about it. So your takeaway, get out 3 times a week. Set your goal, make your plan, get out and do it. Make it happen. It's going to help you in many ways, and people are going to like you better.